Welcome to Zentangle Project Pack number 24. This is day 8. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and with these lovely supplies we have here, we're going to do something a little different than we usually do. And because of the booklet and the celebrating all of this crescent moon and aura and everything, Molly just kind of threw this in there as sort of a surprise. I didn't even know it was going to be in there.
The ladybug.
But she said, "Go ladybug." And so here we have a general outline, not a lot of detail here, but we're going to try to do something here just for fun. So with my my pencil, I'm going to actually put a string in here, a couple strings. And you can either follow along with me or do it as you like. But what I discovered about ladybugs is that there are over 5,000 different kinds of ladybugs, and whatever you do is bound to be one of them. So don't be discouraged that it doesn't look like mine or any ladybug that you have in your windowsill. I think that because of the enormity of numbers of different patterns and bugs, it's got to be almost real. Okay. So if that's what you're looking for.
And I like the very inconsistent consistency of those lines.
So now I'm putting like a wiggly line going around the little spots I put in there, and that's going to be our basis for our background pattern. Going in with the red, and we're going to do crescent moon on that line, and it's going to be serving us as a texture tangle, and it's going to recess into the background. So first thing, we're going to put ladybugs in the ladybugs, little ladybug shapes along that to the right of the line. So they're going to sit on the right of the line to start with.
Very fractal here.
Yeah.
Ladybugs within ladybugs. And I'm noticing, and well, I already know because I saw ahead, but that Maria's leaving a space between each of them, sort of the size of a ladybug.
Well, there's sort of method to my madness, and you want to have a sort of space that leaves you room to put your auras. And whatever you do, it will be fine. You know, we work within these parameters.
Well, and that's also some ways that it becomes unique to whatever you're doing, and that's a big part of what we teach.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we're going to put our auras down around our ladybugs, and I'm going to go first over every ladybug. What I find is that sets us up for where the next one goes quite elegantly.
Right, because particularly if they're near each other, you go into the space of the one next to it before you wanted to sometimes. And these are very flexible auras. And I think it's interesting because we're sort of looking at this ladybug almost at a microscopic level. And I think it's really cool to see the character of the line at this, at this size of magnification.
Right.
Because this ladybug is actually probably less, around a quarter of an inch maybe, or less than a centimeter.
So if this was reduced down to the size of a real ladybug, all you would see would be texture, and it would be like a beautiful texture.
Right.
But you should probably try that. Do it with your phone afterwards. You take a picture of it and make it smaller.
Well, and this is one of the advantages of tangling like this, is you get to see what it is that we don't normally get to see when we're
Right.
just looking at it from such a distance.
Right.
So this is what I think is really cool about this.
So we're going to go now to the right of this line, but
Or the other
on
side
the
of
other
it.
side, because I turned it around and stuff. But we're actually crescent mooning two sides of a line.
Right. Which is very, very sweet. And now we're going to go around each one of those crescent moons that Maria just added and do the same thing. Taking your time, turning your tile. And repeating every stroke.
So if you see my left hand, I have the book. I have my fingers under the book, so that makes it easier to move it around.
Yeah, and you do that on your tiles a lot.
I do that on my tiles, yeah.
And then just adding in the auras until they fill up the space.
And the wiggliness is actually part of the composition.
Mm-hmm.
It happens in nature. If you look at what appears to be spots or everything, they're never a perfect circle. They're usually an erratic shape that's more pleasing to the eye, ironically.
Well, get anything like just a leaf in the fall and take a magnifying glass and look at it and look at the texture and all of the little veins that are in it.
So we're going in with an 05 black, and we're going to do these spots, but it couldn't be just a black spot. I mean, come on, right? Can I do something like that? We're going to go in and do what we call Bronx chair in these shapes, these black spot shapes. Orbish, but they're spots.
Yeah.
You know, and I start with a bigger one in the middle, and then I'm going sort of gradually a little bit smaller, trying to leave a highlight in there.
Well, this is one of the things that you really get to see when you see something at really up close, what's going on.
So you see that my spots are getting smaller as it gets to the edge, and that's going to give it a curvature, you know, and some shape and character. Just that. So Bronx cheer doesn't have to be a berry, and it doesn't have to have a stem. It can be a texture, and I find it to be a wonderful texture. I use it a lot.
Nice.
So again, something so simple as a series of orbs, you know, depending on how you color them in.
Right? Great effect.
Right. She's starting to come to life.
Right? I love that random walk of the crescent moons on the back there.
So I have my 05 here, and I'm doing something with straightish lines. You know probably that I'm not capable of doing an exactly straight line. And this tangle is called hurry. We don't use it that often, and the reason why it's called hurry, it's not because it goes fast, but because I thought the pattern looked like rush.
Right, the rush
The
weaving
rush
on
on chair
Yeah.
seats. My parents used to do it, and to me it looked like rush, and so rush, hurry, you know that.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
And so it's just going in different directions, and where it overlaps and how it overlaps is beneath those little orbs there. But that's You can look that up in, I don't know if we have that on the app, but you can certainly look that up on the website.
So now, after you've put down your first 4 lines of each segment, you go in and aura them. Again, it's a beautiful texture, but straight lines to complement all the curvy ones down below.
And so we've got, aura going on. We've got hollowball going on. And now you can really get a sense of the over and under. And you can go back and forth, and you can weave these however you want. Taking your time, and you can see her lines here are a little bit closer together, and it just gives a whole different texture. And that's one of the variables that you can play with as you're tangling and using aura, is that whole concept of, okay, I'm going to do a really tight aura, I'm going to do a really wide aura, and notice the difference that they make, filling auras in with orbs or little strands of Knightsbridge. And you've got that beautiful texture. You always give that extra little touch on it. I love that.
So on the legs here, we're doing a simple version of Dudah, which is, I think this is one of the greatest tangles. It's so simple, and it's just lines, but in a very specific way. So you're starting on one line and don't go to the other edge, and then do the opposite on the next line, so that it goes to the other edge but doesn't start at the top. And once you have a rhythm, it goes really quickly, and it I don't know, it's kind of got a questionable, like, how did you do that? How does that work in such a simple way?
Well, you get this like folded, winding, back and forth. Very cool.
So you get to practice your Dudahs. And Dudah is named because I thought it looked like a zipper, and it was Zippity Dudah, the old song that we used to sing when we were little kids.
Coming together. Nice. So getting out that metallic gel pen.
Now this, interestingly enough, when I was doing this, I said, I'm just going to do some spirals. But not having worked with this pen, I probably should have gone with more space in between the lines. And then I thought, oh yeah, but I like what the texture is when it ended up, when it was done. So never say never, It ended up working out just perfectly.
And to be fair, it's really humid here right now.
Oh my God. It's so
the paper is wet.
Yeah, and it's so humid. And we have no air conditioning in here. Right.
And still, so it becomes its own texture, and just go with it. It is a great pen, and you really want to use it on different surfaces and get a sense and really appreciate how the effect of the metal coming up and just giving this beautiful multi-tone effect.
So I went in to do it again with the Bronx cheer, and this pen has a mind of its own, so it is what it is. But I ended up actually liking what happened there.
Yeah.
So this looks pretty tangly. We're going to do some intense shading here after it dries.
Right. So that waving of the hand is just to remind you that the jelly rolls in general, or any really big surface that has a lot of ink on it, a large surface, will dry slower.
So I'm using this blue chalk pencil on its side, which is a little awkward for me at this point, but you can see what I'm doing here.
So really loading it up on the edge.
Yep. Wow, that really makes it come to life right away, right?
The tortillon really is a magic wand.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can really control, and look at that. It's beautiful. And you can always go back on the edge, add a different texture or add a different color, or darken the color.
So I'm going in and you know, I wanted that blue to come up in these Bronx chairs, because really a Bronx chair usually has that blue shading in it automatically. So I thought, wouldn't that be so cool, right? So around the edges, oh my God, it became so rich in color.
And it's just one of those things that may not immediately be obvious, but it just adds this really cool dimension to it. Inviting it in with the tortillon.
I wish you could see it in person, and it's a little bit more vibrant.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Always going back, finding another little bit.
Okay, going in with our graphite pencil to add more on the edges, because I wanted that curvature of the shell to be obvious.
And touching it with the tortillon and blending it with the blue. It's a really nice texture. Imagine finding something like that.
Wow, I would love to find something like that.
Looking at it with a magnifying glass.
Yeah. So in with this hurry, I'm going to go with the graphite pencil and go around the edges.
And all of this is in honor of our first, like when we would give a class, the first one we would start out like 20 years ago, it was like, okay, make this shape about the size of a ladybug.
Yep, and that we always used that comparison, but then it became something else, you know.
So it's become this lovely personality that sort of appears here and there. Came up in some of our books.
Okay, so I'm going to add some texture, some dimension to the little feet here, the little legs.
And it's just a little bit, and you know, and not even really thinking about where's the light coming from. Just doing one side and leaving the other side light. And I like how you pulled that into that.
It's because it shaded the edges of the white spots. Oh, it looks like now the head looks like it's gold, right? It's so cool.
Yeah.
Like a scarab pin or something.
Right. Neat. So now with the O1,
I'm gonna clean up that the head part. What ended it, you know, at first when I put the ink down here, I thought I'm going to have to start all over again. But it's better than what I had imagined. So keep that in mind when you're in the middle of a tile and you think, it's not going right. It's not going right. Keep going, because you never know how it's going to affect the entire composition.
And it's almost something that, not that you want it to happen, but it's a welcome event when it happens, because, okay, now you've really got an opportunity to dig deep into your creative
no mistakes,
yeah.
Thing.
Okay, take inspiration. Okay, now what can I do? I didn't expect this.
And, because it's a natural piece here, I'm not crazy about it being even on both sides or having to worry about, about, sizes and shapes
Right.
and stuff.
So just enjoying going around and
Adding love.
This is something Maria does a lot, and which is just going back and touching different things and sort of like rearranging something on the bureau, just right. But it does give a nice definition to the edges. It's like you're in a relationship with the work that you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
What does it want? What does it like? And sometimes just to spend time with it because you've had such a good time working on it.
Right. I think that, this was the other one, right? This was the first one.
So you can see a slight glistening there.
Yeah, that's the one I put the nail polish on.
Right.
You can see it. He was kind of walking off the thing here, but... Well, I had fun doing this. I hope you do too. And
thank you for joining us and for this lovely series. And please stay tuned for our wrap-up video. And we will see you next project pack.
See you later.
Bye now.